Krista, and I'm one of the instructors for TRX in Australia. There's actually only 2 female instructors, and you have us both here today, Krista and Christy. So we're pretty much interchangeable. It's even spelled with a K. If you forget one, it doesn't really matter. It's all good. We're going to cover some of the best suspension training movements for women today. I had to really concentrate to get it down to a few exercises for a few sort of different categories of females, or things that you guys as trainers are going to encounter frequently in your career. So has anyone here done the suspension training course, the full 1-day suspension training course? I am going to give to Mish a coupon code that you can use to get $100 off a TRX course if you want to come and do the full thing. So that will drop it down to the like 2010 price, I think. So come along and do that. It'll either be with Christy, who's there, with myself, or with Andrew Chadwick. You might have met him at Philex sometime. He's one of our male TRX instructors. Let's start by looking at stability. So one of the things that this suspension trainer gives you is, because it has a single attachment point at the top, it gives you a whole lot of feedback about what your body is doing in space in a way that lying on a bench or even just standing up doesn't actually give you, because this is going to force your body to deal with a little bit of rotation, a little bit of instability all the time. So it's what we call the right amount of instability. It's not as much instability as stepping on a Bosu ball, but often in life the ground isn't probably going to be shaking, so it's not quite as functional as having a bit of instability from the top down. So I'll get you guys to feel this. When people have never trained before and they come in and they do this movement, which is called a standing rollout, and Christy, can I get you on this one going that way so these guys can see? So a standing rollout starts here with the hands at about belly level. And what we want to do is squeeze and lock in the entire body. So glutes, legs, shoulder blades down, neck strong, literally head to toe activated. And then we want to bring the arms up until we feel like that's enough loading, but everything is still strong. And then we want to come back down. But what we commonly see is we see wrists starting to let go. We see glutes completely relaxed. We see a sag. We see this kind of thing. It looks really stressful, and then we come back. So what we're trying to do is work on the stability through the entire system to then be able to build strength at all of those joints and the ability to hold everything. So if you guys could, you can keep your paper in your hands for this. If you guys could bring your feet, let's bring them all the way together. And I want you to bring your arms down by your sides. And I want you to straighten your arms, and I want you to tense your arms, squeeze your legs together, squeeze your glutes, brace your belly like someone was going to punch you, get your entire body as strong as you can. It does feel weird, doesn't it? But that's the kind of thing that we need to be able to switch on and switch off again in certain movements to protect the spine. We're not going to walk around like that all the time. That would be silly. But you want a body that is responsive and able to do that in movement, rather than having the glutes sag, having everything switch off, not being able to switch on. One of the phrases that we use in TRX is apples, not applesauce, and it's referring to your glutes and the activation of the glutes. So if you hear us say apples, not applesauce, that means activate your glutes really consciously, don't let them be relaxed. So if I could have one person on each TRX, please. We're going to bring them to what is called mid-length, which just means halfway up the strap. Okay, so one person on each TRX, please. And the way we go through movements is we're going to say you're going to stand facing away from the anchor point. So because the anchor point is the only thing that doesn't move, you're going to stand facing the anchor. So on these ones, mid-length is right where the black and gray start to change. It's right where the black and gray start to change, or on yours, it's right where these 2 little yellow bits are. So guys, you're going to turn and face away from your anchor point. So turning and facing away from your anchor point, and your straps are just a little bit long. See these 2 little bits? Yep. That's your mid-length marker right there. So we'll just move it down a little bit. Just move it down a little bit, just there.
Do you want me to use this one?
Yeah, perfect, yep. You're going to bring your hands out in front of you at belly height. So belly height means if you drew a line from your stomach and your arms came out in front of that line, that's belly height. Good. And you can come slightly over this way. Yep, just tilting to face me a little bit, just so that you guys don't bump into each other. Good. Great. And then I'll get you to come a little bit just over this way to face me slightly, just so you guys don't run into that machine. So hands at belly height, arms straight, and you're gonna walk your feet back just enough to have your heels slightly off the ground. And I don't mean tiptoes, I mean your heels are a centimeter off the ground. Bring your legs all the way together. So let's bring your arms up a little higher, just there, good. Squeeze your legs together like we did before. Squeeze your backside, lock everything on as strong as you can, and now slowly raise your arms and lower your body at the same time until you feel like you're gonna lose control somewhere, and then come back down to the start. And you're gonna do about 5 of those. Going forward, so bring your legs all the way together. Yep, and then squeeze your bum as strong as you can. That's it, good. Notice what's happening with your head. Are you looking down? Are you losing neutral neck? Just pulling your rib area a little bit. So there's a little bit of a sag happening in the ribs. Yeah. And again, so just lift your head up slightly. Good. And then we want to squeeze the bum. So if I poke you in the side of the glutes, we want to rock solid. So squeeze your legs, guys. Squeeze your glutes. That's good. Apples, not applesauce. And think of, for you, hiding the ribs every time, just slightly hiding the ribs. So we have a lot of shoulder awareness here, because if they lose their shoulder control, you're gonna see them come up like this. If you see them lose core control, they're gonna sag. If you see them lose glutes, you're gonna see the bum actually relax, and it's really obvious with the kind of pants we're all wearing, okay? And if you see them lose plank, see how you've stuck your bum back? So drop your bum down into a plank, and then squeeze your glutes. That's perfect. You'll see them break at the hips. Once you've done 5, 6, 7 reps, change with someone else and let them have a go. Good, so just stop here for 1 sec. See how your bum is behind you? Yeah. Bring your weight forward. No, don't move your feet. Bring your weight forward on your toes. That's it, exactly. So as you raise your arms, you lower your whole body. And if you're squeezing your bum, you can't break at the hips. It won't happen. So squeeze your bum, that's it, and then come back down. So about 5 to 8 of your best reps, and think shoulder blades down, really strong. Poking in the side of the glute means just really activate it, like ridiculously active. Really good. I can see apples are fully on here. That's good. Just pause a little bit less high. So like 3/4 of the way where you went. Drop your hips a fraction down with you. That's it. Good. And think about keeping the shoulders down, the back. Good. Good. So come back to the start for 1 sec. As you raise your arms, drop the rest of your body with you. So dropping your bum down, pause there, drop your hips forward. That's it right there. Feel the difference? Good. And then come back to the start, everything at once. So we never want the heels on the ground, not at the start, not at the end. Yeah, go again. As you, and then drop down, pause there, squeeze everything, come back. Good, good. Good. Keep those shoulders really down. If I poked you in the side of the bum, we'd want apples, not applesauce. So solid through here, good. So guys, that's one of the best tools to slowly teach your clients whole body anterior chain stability. And the great thing about it is that you don't have to go very far. You can make it as regressed as you want, because you can start here and your movement can be just going from here to here and then back again. From here to here and back again. And you're essentially learning to do a plank when maybe someone's not ready for a full plank on the ground yet. You're learning a plank that's not just about here. You're learning a plank that's literally from your ankles all the way up to your head. So whole body stability through all of your joint systems, okay? So really good when someone is brand new, they don't have a sense of where their body is in space. You'll be able to see what happens and see where the faults are. Is it in the shoulders? Is it in the belly? Is it in the ankles? Is it in the core? Yeah, are they able to keep themselves in that plank? So if you want to write down, it's done at mid-length. And mid-length is just at the 2 little stitchy bits, or on the new units, just where black turns to gray. That's mid-length. Okay? And then the second one we're going to look at is plank. And you'll see I have plank / TRX plank, because a TRX plank is very, 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 very difficult. And you're not going to have a lot of clients who are straight away ready to have the feet in the foot cradles and be able to do a whole body plank. So if I could get everyone down on the ground just briefly on your stomach, please. So everyone down on the ground. So when we do a plank, a lot of the time, If we're doing a plank and we're holding it for 3 minutes, we're not really thinking about it too much, okay? So can you just come up in a plank? I'll just hold you there for 10 seconds. Just come up in your plank. Just come up in your plank, and I just want you to notice where you're having to think about it. So as a fitness professional, you're probably thinking a little bit about your belly, maybe a little bit about holding your head straight. Probably not much else is going on, right? Relax down for a sec. So I'm going to teach you how to do a whole body tension plank, or what you may have heard also called a hard style plank, that is going to literally have everything in your body far more switched on than before. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but we have an epidemic in our world of gigantic quads and flat underactive glutes. Has anyone noticed that? Big leg, flat butt syndrome, and that's because we're often doing a lot of stuff with our quads that we should be doing with our glutes. Our glutes are really underactive. They don't switch on as often as they should. So this movement is going to get your glutes firing, and you're going to have to really think about having the glutes firing in this movement. So come down and do this with us, really step by step. So step one is we're going to have the hands apart. You're not going to clasp your hands. Okay, clasping the hands, it kind of encourages a bit of that chest sinking, poor posture stuff, which we don't really want to see, and relax back down. So hands are going to be apart. And at first I want you to think of fingertips pointing forward. Let yourself sink into the ground, and then imagine you're pushing the ground away through your elbows. Okay, now you're going to keep that real lift feeling happening at the shoulders. Tuck your toes under and lift just your knees off the ground a little bit. Now, this is not the nicest floor for this, and I apologize. Only the lady on the mat there is going to have a nice time with this next part. But we're staying lifted, and we're going to squeeze our glutes, which is going to push our pelvis into the ground, or your pubic bone in this case. Ouch. So squeeze your glutes, and you should be able to see on everyone's butt around you, glutes are off, glutes are on. Keep your glutes squeezed. Now pull your belly up and your ribs up, and come up and squeeze everything. Do not let your legs go or your glutes go for 8 more seconds. 7, 6, squeeze your glutes. 5, squeeze them. 4, no sagging. 3, a little higher. 2, 1, and relax. Did you feel the difference? Was that a plank where you were like, I am not holding this puppy for 3 minutes, there's no way. So glutes being activated in a plank, it can be quite hard. Now, if you're one of those people who, as soon as you came up in the plank, your glutes went to applesauce, it took me about 6 months to get my glutes working in that position. So can I get you to turn to someone next to you and introduce yourself, because you're going to do that again and they're going to poke you in the side of the butt. So it's going to get a little bit intimate, okay? So partner A, whoever wants to go first, Krista, you can be partner A, and I'll demo with you, okay? So partner A, I'm going to talk you through it. Partner B is going to politely and friendly like poke you in the side of the bum, okay? So partner A, hands are apart. Partner A, start off by pushing the ground away through the elbows. Yeah, remember, hands are not clasped. Then tuck the toes under and lift the knees. Then squeeze the glutes on the ground, and then add in the stomach and come up and squeeze your everything. And you're gonna just poke them in the side of the glutes. You're gonna make sure the quads are on for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Partner B, it's your turn. So start off with the forearms and think step by step, because if you try to do it all at once, the glutes often do not engage, okay? So let's do the forearms first, and then let's lift the knees. Good, and then squeeze your bum on the ground, and then add in your belly and come up all at once and everything on. So go a little higher, and then squeeze the glutes. That's better, good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Okay, everyone come up to standing again. Everyone's just loving that. There's just so much chatter. Guys, can I have your attention for a second? So glutes, if you noticed that they were like, sorry, not happening, a little bit floppy, that's pretty normal. If you were someone who could get them on no problem in a plank first go, you're unusual, and your glutes are probably working pretty well. So don't stress out if they didn't work. But come up to standing for a sec. I'm just gonna show you the difference between having your legs close in a plank and having your legs wide in a plank. So if you could just bring your legs like this. The movement signal of squeezing your inner thighs together helps you get the movement signal of your glutes on. It's like they're friends, okay? Bring your feet all the way together, squeeze your legs together, and feel how much you're able to get your glutes on. I mean, they're like little rocks there, right? And now take your feet a little wider and do your best to get the glutes on again. Not as good, but you know, maybe still okay. And now take your feet really wide and have a go. Just feels really weak, doesn't it? Like, they just don't really go. So if you struggle to get the glutes activating, bring your feet together in your plank for a while, all the way together, and get that movement signal from your legs. And the same thing goes when we're doing a standing rollout. You would bring your feet all the way together, squeeze and lock everything on if you need that little bit of extra help rather than going wide. Make sense? So don't feel you have to go really wide, because the difference is really remarkable. And I honestly am not joking with you when I say it took me 6 months to be able to squeeze my glutes and do a chest press on the TRX. It took a long time for me to start to get them reactivating. So now that you've felt how hard a hard style plank is on the ground, most of your clients, they need to work at 10 seconds at a time on the ground. They don't need their feet suspended. But I want you to feel the difference just for you guys today with your feet suspended. So if you would like to try, then come up to a TRX, and we're gonna bring them down to the length that's called mid-calf. So you're gonna sit down and hold on to the foot cradles, and there's one there, guys, for you too if you want. And watching Krista, you're gonna pick up the foot cradles like they're smelly socks. You're gonna lie all the way onto your back. You're gonna stick your toes through, and you're all gonna roll to your right. So sticking your toes through like this. Yeah, and then roll to your right. Yep, keeping your knees bent and just roll it over. You got it. Okay, now move a little bit to your right so that you're not out of line with your anchor point. So everyone shuffle a little to your right. And then remembering everything you just learned, okay? So bring your elbows under your shoulders. And when I say 1, 2, 3, you're gonna come up in the world's strongest plank. You guys both need to go a little to your right. Yeah, good. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and come up. Push the ground away, straighten the legs, squeeze the glutes. Don't drop the head, legs like absolutely solid for 5 more seconds. Apples, apples, up through here. 3, 2, 1, and relax down. Good. Did that feel a little bit more difficult? So that's quite an advanced plank. Needless to say, you are not going to go near that with your pregnant clients. Your pregnant clients are going to do standing abdominal work, okay? Because someone who's 4 months pregnant, that's a lot of pressure going downward through that part of the body, okay? So I just need to say that. This is for your new clients. Once they have mastered 10 seconds of solid planking with the glutes active on the ground, then we can try putting the feet in. But it is a big progression. So don't let people get up there and do a plank where they're just thinking about their belly and the rest of the body is switched off. Okay, that's when people will go, ooh, my back hurts when I do that. Your glutes need to be on to help protect your back in that position, okay? So that's the second exercise. Let's have a couple more people give that plank a go. So swap over if you're in the TRX, hop out. And Christy will walk you through smelly socks again. So we can have another person on that middle one over there too. There's 3 over there, just go ahead. In the middle one. So you're going to pick up the foot cradles as if they are smelly socks. You're going to stick your toes through just like this lady on the end is doing perfectly. And then you're going to roll over to your right. And we're all rolling to our right. Oh, so rather than that way, take your toes out for 1 sec. You're actually going to put them this way.
Oh, okay.
Whoop, whoop, and then roll to your right. And keep your knees bent as you roll. That's it. You got it. You got it. Beautiful. Lie on your back. Stick your toes through, and you're a rebel, you rolled to your left, but other than that, it was perfect. I'm kidding, you're fine. There's no one near you. All right, guys, so when I count 3, we're gonna come up and everything is gonna be rock solid. Ready in 3, 2, 1, and come up and squeeze your glutes and come up a little higher. Everything as solidly as you can. For 5, really strong. 4, really strong. 3, up through here. 2, glutes on, and 1, and relax. Good. Did everybody feel that? It should feel difficult. I mean, it's a very difficult movement to get everything on at once. Okay, take your feet out. That exercise is done at mid-calf height, if you want to write that down on your paper. So mid-calf just means that the foot cradles are hanging at the thickest part of your calf, okay? Mid-length is a little higher. Mid-calf is just a couple inches lower. So the foot cradles hang at the thickest part of your calf, okay? But there's been some research to show that 10 seconds is how long we should plank for on the suspension trainer or off, and that we should be trying to squeeze our pelvic floor just as much as we're squeezing everything else, and then letting go. So let go of your minute-long planks, your 3-minute-long planks. Think of it as sprinting versus a long, steady-state cardio. Sprinting, vastly more effective. This kind of plank, vastly more effective, because ultimately you want a body that's able to be really responsive and tense when it needs to be to protect your spine from injury, but you're not trying to create whole body stiffness for 3 minutes at a time. That's not a very functional movement. We never really need to do that in real life. So don't be that guy who planked for 60 minutes or 90 minutes or whatever the world record is. It's completely crazy. He wasn't doing that kind of plank. All right, so the next one is a really wonderful one for those ladies, myself included, who have the old hyperextending knee issue, right? And lots of us do. And mine are a terribly good example. They go back so far, it's like they bend in half. And I've had to learn over many years not to ever straighten them all the way, but to always have them slightly bent. And it is really difficult to do and really difficult to keep your mind on. So the movement we're gonna do, I'll get you to demo again because I can't go on back, is a hamstring curl. And if you are hyperextended knees, who's got hyperextended knees? You must know. Yep. If you have hyperextending knees, you are not allowed to let them go straight in this, and that's going to be the tough part. You're going to lift up and you're going to have a slight bend in them the entire time, which is going to be very difficult through here, but it's going to teach you to stabilize around that really loose knee joint that we have, okay? So she's going to put her heels in this time. She's putting just the heels into the foot cradles rather than the toes, which we did last time, so just the heels, and then arms are going to down by the side. We want the hands this way because we're trying to undo this position that we all sit in all the time with our internally rotated shoulders. So we're externally rotating. She's going to lift up till she's in a nice straight line. It's like a reverse plank. If she were me, she'd have a slight bend in the knees, but Christy doesn't have hyperextending knees. You're very lucky. And then she's going to drag her heels in toward her backside, keeping her feet slightly apart, and then straightening them out again. Now, relax back down. If you find this incredibly difficult, like you try to do 1 rep and everything cramps up, you can keep your hips on the ground and apply a ton of downward pressure through your own heels. That's a movement that we give people when they're recovering after injury or knee surgery. You're still gonna feel the posterior chain activate, okay? So don't feel you have to be lifting the hips up really high when someone is really new and learning to stabilize their joints. So let's get people back up again. I want you guys to have a go at that. So you're gonna lie down and just put your heels into the foot cradles. So you lie on your back, both heels go in, just like that. It's already set at the right height, so just hop down on your back.
I'm just gonna adjust them. That one's just slipped.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, that's okay. They don't have to be the same height.
Oh, do they?
No, because they can watch the top of it, so they can always just adjust a little bit like that. Exactly. So just your heels in, guys. Yep, straighten your legs all the way and scoot back a little bit. Are you hyperextending? Are you one of the, yeah, just slightly. So it's like the most micro bend ever, yeah. Okay, so you're lying on your back. You got it, guys? And I'll get you to scoot back a little bit, just a little, yeah, good. I want you to pull your toes towards your face. So you're not gonna point your toes, you're gonna do the opposite, dorsiflexing. And then if you've got hyperextended knees, put a little bend into your knees and now lift your hips up in the air. Just to that straight plank first. And now drag your heels in towards your backside 3 times. Push them back out. Keep your feet slightly apart, twice more. Really good. We wanna also be pushing down the back of the arms and pushing down through the upper back. And relax back down. And now, don't take your feet out yet, but just try the regressed version with your hips on the ground. Imagine you are pushing your heels down like you're gonna drag into the floor. See how you can still feel that? So that's an option for my grandmother or anyone else who's a little bit deconditioned and needs an easier option. Good. It's also an option for your pregnant ladies or people who are, you know, once you're really pregnant, not that you get more or less pregnant, but once you're really far along in the pregnancy and it's tough to move, you can actually do this version. So I don't know if you guys have done sessions on pregnancy this time around, but the latest American College of Gynecologists info is that they can be on their back if they're comfortable for short periods of time. So don't feel you have to avoid it. If the person's comfortable, they can stay there for 30 or 40 seconds and then roll out of that, no problem. Let's have some other people in. Pop your heels in. I better go faster. Better go faster. We're not going to have any time for the older adults. So nice and quick, you're going to lift your hips and you're going to do 3 regular hamstring curls and then 3 of the regressed version. It's okay, I'll push down for you. Whoop. Pull your toes, it's okay, just keep downward pressure on your heels and that'll keep them in there. Toes toward your nose, and remember palms face up. We want to open up rather than close off the shoulders. Good. Once you've done 3 with your hips lifting, do 3 with your hips on the ground. Yeah, good, excellent. Keep your arms down and just pushing them down into the ground with the back of the arms. That's okay, you can hold hands. We're all friends here. Good. Yeah.
That comes off the ground.
And that's okay. Oh, the regressed go again? So pull them in. Just keep like ribs to hips kind of activation. Yeah. Squat from a different angle. All right, guys, hop up from that. I need to go quicker. We're going to run out of time for the older adults. So pre and postnatal, one of the things that women find, especially once they have the little parasite, I mean baby, and they're always holding the baby right in those first few months, like you never get to put that down. And they're often ending up a little bit hunched, right? Because that's just the posture. You're breastfeeding, you're holding it, you're rocking it, you're praying, it'll be quiet, all that stuff. So one of the things we want to do is open up a little bit through the chest and try to develop a little bit of T-spine mobility to try to take some of that aggravation of the posture out of that for them. So this is just slightly postnatal. I don't mean any insults. All your babies are wonderful as well. I'm just kidding. Okay, so with your T-spine rotation, Krista, can you show them over there as well? So we bring it back up to that mid-length, and then we're actually going to hold both foot cradles with one hand. Okay, so both foot cradles with one hand, and we're going to line ourselves up side onto the anchor point. And we're not leaning at all, we're standing upright to start. Then your inside leg goes forward, that's the one closest to the anchor point. And then all you're going to do is slowly let yourself turn and open toward the anchor point. You just go to where you feel comfortable, let that left arm straighten all the way, and then you're going to slowly come back up. So it's a nice, easy, gravity-driven T-spine rotation. Feels quite nice, and come back up. The thing to look out for, you don't want to start in a really big angle. It's going to be a lot of loading. You want to start pretty much upright, because then when your arm straightens, you're going to have a little angle anyway. Okay? So let's get some of you guys into that. Perfect. Thank you for hopping up. Let's have someone else on this one. You're going to hold on to both foot cradles with one hand. Both foot cradles with one hand. Yeah, just pop them up a tiny little bit.
Sorry, show me.
Yeah, you just pull very slightly with your thumb just to loosen it, and then you grab that yellow and pull it up.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm trying to add another
Yeah,
one
perfect.
in.
Yep, yeah, let this go because it's your body weight's going to pull that away from the spine and then come back up. And it's to where you're comfortable.
This way.
Yeah, you got it. And then with this arm, you're just going to open that up to the side, letting this left arm straighten all the way. Perfect. And that pulls that away from the spine, and then you come back up. Actually step away toward me just a fraction. Yep, and go again. You had quite a lot of angle happening there. Good, so come back up and step away toward me a tiny little bit. Yep, and then go again and let this left arm straighten all the way as you go. Just like you're on a tightrope. Yep, and now as you go, you're going to straighten this arm all the way. So keep going, let this arm straighten. Keep going, let this arm. Yeah, so it's this arm straightening. It's going to pull the shoulder. Step away toward me a little bit with both feet, and now go again. You'll have less body weight. Yep, go again. So letting this arm straighten, that's it. And that's that pull that we're kind of looking for, away from the spine.
That arm stays being straight.
No, that arm straightens all the way.
Oh, it does,
straightens all the way. This one opens up. You go to where you're comfortable, and then we come slowly back up, because it's that straightening of the arm that's going to pull her scap away from her spine, and that usually feels quite nice. Yeah. When you're ready, you can change it up. So hold on with your, this hand?
This hand.
Yeah, and that one's over the top. Yep.
We're going to wind that way.
Exactly. And as you go, just like that. Yep.
Just like that?
Yep. And then you're just going to start to let this arm straighten. Turn away from me. Yeah, you got it. Let this arm though really straighten, because it's going to be pulled away from your spine a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to go a little bit limp through that arm. So let this arm straighten all the way. Good. And then come back to the start. So it's just turn and open and follow that arm and come back to the start. Hold on with your right hand. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. Okay, guys, have a quick look up here. The next one we're going to do is also to assist ladies post-pregnancy, during pregnancy as well, to try to get out of that hunch that starts to happen and into emphasizing getting those shoulders back and externally rotating the arm. So it's just going to be a low row. And all you're going to do, we'll have it fully shortened for this movement. You just touch the handles to your chest. You take your feet just to whatever angle you're comfortable with, and then just like our standing rollout, we're tensing everything, just like our plank. Then you're gonna go all the way down, you let your scaps separate, you retract them, and you come back up. So there's always a little bit of protraction, and then retraction at the shoulder blades, and come back up. Nice and simple. It's probably the best and the most well-known movement on this. And because of the way gravity is going down through the body, it's much easier to get your glutes on in this than it is in the ones where you're facing away. So grab onto a suspension trainer, and I'll get you to do 5 low rows. Okay, 5 low rows. Grab on, someone grab on here, all the way up.
As high as it goes?
As high as it goes, yeah. And then start off, yeah, touching it to your chest. So touch both handles. And
Just waiting for someone over there to try and do something, because it's pulling.
is it? Oh gosh. Thanks for the heads up there, everyone. We don't want that to fall over. Good. And now lift up your toes and be on your heels.
We need another person
I know,
on the
we need to be
side.
heavy, eh? I don't think it's going anywhere. It's just wobbling alarmingly, isn't it? Good. That's it. So squeezing the legs and squeezing the glutes and doing 5 of those. It is disconcerting, isn't it? Yeah, you should stay on there for a while. Good.
Oh, right, it's disconcerting.
It is quite disconcerting. Yeah, let's get you over there.
Why would you come out?
Go again, guys. There's a free one here if anybody wants one. We're good? We're good? Awesome. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's just getting them to move around. Okay. Fabulous one. So has anyone done a session in the last couple days where we talk about the separation of the abdominal muscles, diastasis recti? I can't say that first word, don't make fun of me. But this movement, they've done a study, and if done very gently, only when the person is comfortable, can actually help prevent that separation of the abdominals that happens in later on in pregnancy. So fantastic, we all want that. We're gonna bring it back to mid-calf. Christy, I need you again because I can't lie down. And she's gonna put her her hands into the foot cradles. So this is gonna look a lot like a Pilates movement that you may have done before, like just heel taps. But when you put your hands in the foot cradles, there's a really cool thing that happens. So if she bends her knees, and all I get her to do is press down through her arms, it automatically activates your stomach and your pelvic floor. It's really cool. It's you push down with the arms and your inner unit fires. So then all we're gonna do is have her maintain that downward pressure, have her think about pelvic floor, and then just slowly raise one leg up in the air, and then slowly place it back down when she's ready, and then the other side. So again, this is safe to do through pregnancy from the start till whenever they become uncomfortable lying on their back. If they do become uncomfortable, you know, you're not gonna do it for an hour, you're gonna do it for 30 seconds, and then they're gonna roll over onto their side. But it's fascinating to feel. As soon as you lie down, you press down, things happen where you're not even thinking about them happening. It's really quite neat. So give that a go, guys. You're just gonna lie down so that you're almost underneath the anchor point, okay? So that you're almost, I'll just lower this one down for you, and I'll lower that one down for you. You're welcome. Yep, that's perfect. So it's in line with your knee. That's great. Ooh, and just watch out for everyone's heads and arms. We're all very cozy, aren't we? So your arms are going to be straight and by your sides, and open your hands. Yeah. And then don't do anything else, but just feel what happens when you push down through the hands. Yeah. Bang. Inner unit happens. It's really cool. Bend your knees just a little bit. Yep. And just push down and feel that activation. And I'll probably have to lower yours a little more. There you go. Yeah. And press down. Good. And then I'm just going to lower these a bit more so she's got room to bring them down by her hips. Yeah. Good. No, arms are straight. Yeah, straight. Yeah, perfect. And then when you're ready, just slowly raise one leg at a time. Yeah. It's very gentle. This is not a movement that you're going to apply to many people, but again, your pregnant clients, anyone who's rehabbing from a back injury, anyone who doesn't have a good sense of pelvic floor and core awareness, great exercise for them. Really good. Swap it over when you're ready, guys. So yeah, just put one hand through both foot cradles and do the same thing. Exactly right. It's neat, isn't it? As soon as you press down, you're like, but I'm pressing my arms, but I feel things here. This is weird. It's kind of magical, that one. I really like it. Yep, just gently pressing down, open hands. On the foot cradles. Yeah, and hands are straight and scoot forward quite a lot. Yeah, there you go. Good, and just open your hands so your hands are flat. Yep, good. We've got 8 minutes to rush through everything. We can stay 5 minutes into the break, right? Not really. You're concentrating on sucking up the pelvic floor, and as you do that, and your transverse abdominis will activate just from the pushing down, your back should remain totally stable. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to have a go? Have you had a go? Yeah, okay. So again, guys, the focus is pelvic floor, downward press. I'm sorry, you go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that
Yeah.
you've gotten to a 3:45.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah,
Thanks so
so
much.
you don't have to-
Yay, I have longer than I thought. Woo! We'll get through everything. Great, that's really nice. Did you guys feel that when you press down? It's really cool, isn't it? Do you know, it reminds me of, you know that yoga pose when you're here and you put your hands on the ground, and when you push into the ground, your head goes closer to the floor? That always weirds me out as well. I'm like, I'm pushing away from the ground, so how is my head going down? This is so strange. Same kind of thing. You push down and things go up. It's weird. It is. It's kind of weird, but I like it. It's a little bit strange. Okay, so lunge options. This one is really for, obviously you can use your lunge options for all women all the time, but specifically when you're looking at someone who's had maybe some pelvic instability issues during pregnancy, post-pregnancy, some separation of the pubis symphysis, and they're redeveloping the stability in their pelvis, here are some really nice regressed lunge options you can give them in that period. So we're going to bring it to mid-length, and you can just go off that side for me. And this allows them to unload their body weight. So this is easier than body weight. And that's fantastic at that period. We're talking, 6 weeks post-pregnancy kind of movement here. Elbows are under the shoulders, and then all they're going to do is bring their feet together and very carefully step back and do a small lunge and then come back to the start. Because they're hanging on to this and they don't have to think about balancing, they can think about what their pelvis is doing, keeping it stable, keeping it really regressed if they need to, okay? So nice, safe option for your clients who've suffered with a little bit of pelvic instability. And then of course, once someone is comfortable, those lunges will start to look more like your regular step back lunge. And then once they're comfortable at that, a balance lunge where the knee isn't touching the ground. And then once they're comfortable with that, then you can start taking them into options like a crossing lunge or a curtsy lunge where you're going across and behind. Yeah, so you build them up, make sure they're comfortable doing the easier versions of those lunges before they go into the harder versions of those lunges. And ultimately, putting the foot in to the suspension trainer and doing your suspended lunge, which is obviously not for your immediate post-pregnancy clients. But since no one here is visibly quite far through pregnancy, can I get you guys to try the step back lunge Okay, so once you get there, you're going to do a step back lunge on each leg. And then I want you to think of keeping your posture exactly the same, keeping the angles of your leg exactly the same, but doing a balance lunge where nothing touches the ground. So everything is still upright. The knee comes really close to the ground, but nothing touches. Okay, so a step back lunge and a balance lunge on each leg if you could. Grab onto a suspension trainer. We're bringing it back up to mid-length. Yours is already there. Perfect.
Yeah, Krista.
I brought it up. Krista, the K, whatever her name is. Yeah, so just bring it up to where the gray meets the black. So step back lunge. Actually, can I get you to come off this way again, just in case, so we don't fall off. Step back lunge is just elbows under shoulders, literally stepping back. Nice regressed version of that movement. And then try to bring your knee this close to the floor, but not touching the floor when you do the balance lunge. And straight away, you have to deal with a little bit of controlling that instability and rotation from the top, and your body is having to do that subconsciously without you noticing. So it's a fantastic movement, and you'll see, again, postural faults start to show up. If you see them start to hunch forward, or their shoulders go up, or other little movement faults start to appear. This is a great tool for giving you that proprioceptive feedback of what's going on for you. Good, so it's good, but you've got a tendency to lean forward, right? To like hunch into the movement. Good. Good, nice, good. And you'll also find your foot is all of a sudden doing a lot of work as well. Your foot is having to stabilize you, which it doesn't usually have to do. Beautiful. And just bring your palms to face upward. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Sorry, thumbs up, I should say. You know what I mean by that? Yeah. That's the way. Good. Yeah, all of a sudden. And we actually want the front knee to go over the shoelaces. So we want it to go here and then go straight down. That's it, and then come back up and see where that leg didn't really want to do that.
I've got a dislocated little toe, so.
Ah, so you've only got 4/5 of the help right now, yeah.
You just did this over there.
You went to do it and you fell over, and then it's stability in the foot and the ankle and the knee, not used to having to control rotation. Yeah, it's quite useful. Yeah, very much. And then there's all sorts of jumping options with all of those once someone gets used to it. So lots of options. I can take my time because we have 3 movements left in 15 minutes. That's great. So we're looking at our 3 movements for our older adults now. And one of the best ones, now I say this is for older adults, but really this is for everybody, because what is one of the postural faults that modern life causes for us? We are almost all slightly inwardly rotated at the shoulders. If you guys just relax your arms right now by your sides, and you look around the room, if we had impeccable posture, you wouldn't see the backs of my hands. See how we're all seeing the backs of our hands a little bit, right? We would have hands that were like this. Yeah, that were thumbs forward or even slightly open if we didn't have any inward rotation. Relax your arms again. This is where our arms sit. And that's because of, computers and driving and trains and, right, everything we do is forward and hunchy, right? So this is a fantastic movement for everyone, but as we get older, those problems, they don't usually get better. There's not really many people who are like, so much fitter at 85 than I was at 65. So we want to try to open up. Maybe the really deconditioned person spends a lot of time sitting, so that problem might be worse. So this is a lovely movement, and it feels really nice. So feel free to spend the entire 5 minutes of this movement just doing this over and over. So we're going to start off with our arms out wide. Now, those of you who are hypermobile in the shoulders, I don't want to see you going back here. That's not what that's about. So arms are going to go really wide, and you're going to walk forward until you just feel an initial tiny amount of stretch. And you're reaching your hands out to the sides again. And then you take a little step forward, which increases that stretch, and then back. And then a little step forward and back. And you can change and play around with the angles. You can have arms up a little more. You can have one arm up and one arm down. But we're just looking for a rhythmic, mobilizer kind of movement, and it feels lovely. I could do it all day. So have a go at that. Mid-length, facing away from your anchor point. Someone grab that one. Yep, facing away that way, facing away this way. Feels really nice. So initial 1 out of 10 stretch, and then when you step into it, you'll be looking at 5 out of 10 stretch. Come back. We don't want this to feel aggravating or aggressive in any way. So maybe, can I get you to go off to the side a little more? Yeah, perfect, there you go. So very gentle, so see how your arms are already a little bit too much stretched, just there. Now step into it and think of reaching your hands that way. Yeah, nice, good. Feels nice, doesn't it? It's lovely. Good, so not quite so much angle of your body. Walk your feet forward a little bit. Yeah, just there, good. And then take a little step, just a gentle step, and bend that front knee, and that's the stretch, and then come back out of it, and then another one. Yeah, you don't want to let the arms go too far. I want you to think of reaching them that way, away from each other, rather than back. Yeah, here. Nice. So come forward with your arms wide until you feel just an initial point of stretch with your palms facing forward. And then just take a gentle step into it and let the arms be pulled back and then come back to the start. Good. And once you've done 2 or 3, play around with the arms going higher, one arm, one up. Mid-length. Good, and then it is so nice, isn't it? And now come back to the start, yeah, and take 1 up and 1 down. And reach them away from each other as well. Feels nice, doesn't it? So it gets lots of opening through the belly and the chest, the biceps, depending on what. I know you could just do it all day. It gets a little bit of the back hip as well, so lots going on. And really straighten and reach fingertips away and fingertips away the other way, so that you're always reaching right through the palm of the hand away, but don't worry about getting your body at an angle. We want to be quite upright, almost like your sternum's going to be the furthest thing forward. Yeah, good.
Sorry? I've just had it. No?
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah, it feels nice. And really lengthen your arms out this way so that fingertips are open, and you're going to reach this hand that way, reach that one that way, and then your foot comes forward into the step. Yeah, good, good. Always lengthening away, stretching out, big wingspan. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah. And keep really reaching away, and don't make it too aggressive. Make it quite gentle. So yeah, reach away. Don't make it too aggressive, make it quite gentle. Bend into the front knee. Yeah, good. Yes, exactly. Guys, as you do that, can I remind you to go really gently and really slowly because of something called fascial stiffening. So if you want the fascia and the connective tissue to let go a little bit, you need to move really slowly. And that's because you can imagine if I took my arm out wide and fast, the fascia here actually stiffens so that I don't rip my arm off. Right? So if you go really wide, you get stiffening here rather than movement there. So slow, almost like you're trying to trick your body into the stretch. Definitely not fast, and you'll get a little bit more movement at those areas. And bend into the front knee as you go. Just bend the front knee, bend the front knee, bend the front knee. There you go. That's it. Bending, good. It's nice, isn't it? Everyone's just like, I'll have another go, I'll have another go, I'll have another go. See, not only does it get the chest and the front, but it also gets your back hip, whatever hip is behind you. And those are areas that get really stuck when we're sitting. So it's just a perfect mobility movement. Lovely. Okay, our next one. And again, this one is for your deconditioned adults, but it's really for everyone. Now, women don't tend to have as many hip problems as men do, as many hip mobility issues as men do. When we're younger anyway, because we tend to sit on the floor, we tend to sit with our legs crossed a little bit more, which helps them stay a bit more open. But if someone's body weight squat, and there could be many reasons why, but if it's kind of looking like this, you know they might have some hip mobility issues, some ankle mobility issues. And this tool is fantastic for that because it allows you to sink a lot lower than you otherwise could. So if we do a TRX squat where we really emphasize hanging out at the bottom position, take your feet as wide as you like, wherever you're comfortable, and you're just going to slowly sit down so you can hang off of the handles. And then you can actually move around a little bit at the bottom. So this is going to promote a little bit of ankle mobility, a little bit of hip mobility. And then before you come up, try to find neutral spine. So you'll probably need to come up a little bit to find neutral spine, so you come out of that tuck to neutral, and then standing up, you want to think of pushing through the whole foot, because we want our glutes to do some work there, not just quadzilla, right? So come down again, you're just going to hang down lower than you normally would, hang around at the bottom a little bit, lower than you could usually get, and then make sure you find neutral spine before you come all the way up. Okay, give that a go. It's called a TRX squat from the ground up, and it's a mobility movement for hips and for ankles. So still at mid-length, yep. Elbows under your shoulders, and then just let yourself sink all the way down to the ground. Feet wherever you like them, they can be, no, they're perfect, perfect, yep, yep. Oh, don't go too far, so come back up to standing to measure it, elbows under shoulders, but then walk your feet back a bit so they're perfect. Now just sink down from there. Yep, you got it. Sink around a little bit. Good. Yep, hang around, do a little side to side, let your knees go forward. Good, and before you come up, find neutral spine, so you'll come up a little bit and then press through the whole foot, and you should feel your glutes push you up. Looks good. Yeah, I know. I think for this kind of movement too, I think it would be super useful, hey. TRX and foam rolling, and just foam roll the crap out of their lower leg, right? Because you're not supposed to with pregnant ladies. See if it works. Guys, want to go over here? We've got more room over here. So when you're sinking down, really let your bum drop right down. Yeah, lower than you normally could, perfect. And then think of neutral spine, so you stick your bum up a bit, and then bang, good. Good. Good, and as you, let your knee come forward, perfect, and let that knee come forward, so you play around with the ankle mobility, and then before you come up, think of pulling forward a bit, and then push through the whole foot. I mean, I know you're missing one toe there, but push through the whole foot. Step your feet back a little bit, yep, and then come down and go again, yeah. Yeah, we don't want to be, because when you come side to side, we actually want the knee to come forward over the shoelaces.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then that knee forward over the shoelaces, because that gets into your ankle mobility. Yeah, it won't as much. And then before you come up, find neutral spine, and then push through the whole foot to come up. Good. So if you can imagine, if you have a client who's maybe in their 60s, maybe hasn't done a lot of mobility work, the hips can get really problematic. This can be a fantastic tool because it is a regressed version of a body weight squat. So it's a way to unload body weight movement. You guys still going? Still going? It's okay, you can keep going. That feels nice. Okay, and finally, perfect timing. We have a movement called a ta-da, which I like the movement. It's called a ta-da because that's how you kind of finish. So you guys would know that we really want to have mobility at our ankles, our hips, and our thoracic spine. Those are the areas where we want mobility. And when we don't have mobility at our ankles and our hips and our T-spine, the areas that should be stable, i.e. our knees and our lower back, they move too much. Does that make sense? So you want mobile ankles, hips, T-spine, you want stable knees, you want a stable lower back. And what do we have? We have a ton of people who say, I have bad knees, or I have a bad back. But the great thing about thinking mobility in ankles, hips, and T-spine is that even if they have some crazy weird problem and it has nothing to do with their mobility at all, you're not going to hurt them by mobilizing their ankles, their hips, and their T-spine. It is unlikely to do any damage at all. It's probably only going to help. So it's a really safe thing for us to do. So this is a great movement, and this actually comes from a university paper that was specifically on older deconditioned adults and how using a suspension trainer, using the TRX, helps them feel supported so that they're not going to fall. So this was on older adults who had had a fall already. So what we're going to do, we're at mid-length, and we're going to hold the foot cradles in one hand, and we're looking at mobilizing ankles, hips, and thoracic spine all at once in this movement. We can walk back until our arm is straight. We're going to do a little bit of a squat, okay, and then we're going to turn and open one foot, pivot around and open up, and that's the ta-da part of the movement, right? So usually with an older adult who's had a risk of a fall, they're not going to be that comfortable turning their head that far around because it makes you feel a little bit dizzy if you're not quite used to it, right? But that's why having your hand on this not only helps you open up through the chest, but also makes you feel very secure about turning and pivoting through the feet, right? Because your grandmother's probably been wearing very thick shoes for a long time. She can't feel the ground. Her feet are not working too well. Feels really nice again. It's one of those movements you'll want to do a few times. So let's do the other side a couple of times. So you walk back till your arm is straight. Then you just do a little bit of a squat and then a big wide step to wherever they're comfortable, and pivoting on that back foot is the key. Pivoting on the ball of the back foot. So we're getting ankle, hip, T-spine. It feels really nice. One more. I kind of don't want to stop doing this to let you guys have a go. It feels really good. Okay, so you guys have a go. There should be lots of room for this because you end up quite far away from the actual frame. So one hand, and I might go on this side for this one just so you guys have a bit more room. One hand on both foot cradles, just like this. And everyone put your left hand on the foot cradles, and not on the handles, but the actual foot cradles. Left hand on the foot cradles, and both hands pointing down. Yep. And then all you're going to do is a little bit of a squat, and then you're going to turn away with your right foot, open your right hand, and pivot all the way around on this foot. So you're going to pivot all the way around on that foot, on the ball of the foot, so you'll end up like that, pivoting right around. Yeah, good. Good, yeah. Sit, and then think of pivoting and opening. Everything other than that right arm is going to move and pivot around, and it feels nice. Feels nice, doesn't it? Good. And you can take that left foot a little wider, and that's going to get more opening through the front of the pelvis. Step, open. Yeah, really. Ta-da! That's what it feels like at the end. Good. I know. Oh, it's like sticking the landing in gymnastics a little bit. Good. Yeah, pivot, and this arm will open up, and keep reaching that other arm back behind you. Yeah. Anyone else over here want to have a go? Lots of room. So start with hand pointing down. Yep. And just walk forward a fraction. There you go. And then sit down, and then you're going to open that right arm out to the side. Pivot on your left foot. Pivot right around. That's the way, because that's what gives you that nice opening through the front of the hip. Pivot right around. Good. Open right up. Great. Good. Just whack them. Yep, so you're going to pivot right around and open that left foot a little further. That's it. Good. And then come back to the start. Little bit of a sit. Yep, and then open, big step, and around. You got it. Good. Good. Nice. Pivot around. Yeah, that's it, because that's what gives you that opening through the hips. And this hand's going to stay pointing down. Yep, and then turn and open the arm, and pivot on this foot.
So
Pivot, yeah, pivot right around, and you'll end up on the ball of the foot, and like, yeah, leaning into it and opening through there. Yeah, they both actually pivot around. Yep, and then come back down. Yep, so it's going to be turn and open and pivot. So it's being on the ball, that's it, and you get that nice opening at the hip joint. That's it, pivot, good, and opening, great. Great. Don't forget to, when you come around, go again on that side. Go down on that side. Pivot on your right ball of your foot, so come right up on the ball of the foot on the right, and you're going to lean away. So this arm, keep this one where it is. Okay. So go again, come down. Pivot and open through that left arm. Keep this one here. Come up through your hips. Yep, take the step, but keep reaching this arm straight. Yeah. Turn and look that way, and then come up on the there you go, and lean like away from this a bit. That's it. Good. This arm doesn't move, but everything else does. So that's your point of stability. Down, turn and open, step with your left. That's the way. Good. And with this hand, think of reaching it forward and continuing to reach it forward through the hand. Yep. Yeah, you were kind of hanging off it. Yep. Good. Lovely. Come right up on the ball of that foot. Pivot it right around. Yeah, that's it. Because then when this position allows that to really open up. Can I get everybody on this side of the frame for a second? Just so we can wrap up and I can talk to all of you at once. So the great thing about this tool is there's so much going on under the surface, and you can work as hard as you want to. So you can do incredibly tough stuff on that that's way harder than body weight, like we saw with the suspended lunge or with the feet in doing plank options, and those are the basics of those options. You can work really, really intensely, or you can work with very deconditioned older adults, maybe people who are coming back from surgeries. So it's a tool where the smarts are hidden under the surface, you know, and your client doesn't really have to know how much is going on through it, but it's a really useful tool. It's actually really helped me be a lot stronger at 38 than I ever was at 28 and than I ever was at 18. And it's really this tool and being involved with them and their movement education that's really helped me do that. So I will send Mish a coupon code if you guys want to come and do a course for $100 off. We run them about every 2 months or so in the CBD. We'd love to see you there. We run them elsewhere, all over the country, the major cities as well, if you're not from there. So Mish will send you guys a coupon code, and thank you very much for coming. Really appreciate your attention. If you have any questions at all, come and ask. Specific stuff, we're here, not going anywhere.